do you find anybody that has infected with the COVID-19 and does not have any Western medicine, but they still using the natural remedy, natural herb to heal themselves?
I have some people who is affected by COVID, but the things they do not have symptoms, so they do not take any medicine. And who are who had symptom, they use the doctor's medicine, who is the doctor provide like normal medicine for fever, this type of things. And drink every day lots of like vegetable or orange or vitamin C type of fruits, so they can make their immune system better.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Sean Pandya. I currently run Amcon Consultants. We are a MEP engineering firm. We've been around for about 35 years. It was made by my father.
I don't know a lot of things about India, but you remind me that some people told me rich people is always come from Mumbai and poor people is always come from Delhi. And,
yeah, that's pretty much it. Mumbai is kind of where the money's at. Bollywood and all that. A lot of the big actors live out there. So yeah, it's kind of like New York or kind of like Hollywood.
Yeah, you remind me of your mother is like a princess married to.
She was a princess. She tells me all the time that she was a princess. She said she used to have an assistant. I think they, that would always do everything for them. That would drive them everywhere. That would cook them meals. Then they lived in the house, and they would just completely take care of them. Like her life was easy.
So but India has three type of level of people that they cannot change. Pretty much, in their whole life, they have to stay like that.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit slightly more equalized nowadays with the internet. They have access to the internet, and they can self-teach themselves some stuff. They can find a way to reach some Americans, reach other countries. I get reached out to all the time by people in India offering some type of services to me. So they have a little bit more opportunity, but in reality, within their own country, there's no opportunity. And I remember my dad told me that his father told him that, hey, there's no opportunity here. You need to go to America. You'll never live good out here.
And if he lives there for his whole life, he stays at the middle class range.
I think he would stay there because there's over there. Let's just say he wanted to do the same thing he does here. He wanted to be a mechanical electrical engineer. I don't believe you can doing that there. It's with the building code regulations, I don't think you even need to have a permit to build stuff out there. And to get yourself some of these big jobs that you'd want probably in Mumbai, I don't see, it's probably just given to those that are within, that level. There was just no opportunity from what he tells me. And that's kind of the reason I haven't visited India, because he hasn't told me anything good about his living situation out there. And he never really encouraged me to go visit it,
Let's talk about the COVID.
Sure.
COVID-19 hits hard to India right now. And obviously you have a very long history of background with India, and you can tell us a little bit about India.
Yeah, I mean, one thing too, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there about COVID. Some people don't believe in it, all that mumbo jumbo that, but I know firsthand it's very serious. My sister's a doctor at Kaiser, and she works with these patients firsthand and told me in the very beginning, like, hey, this is something to take serious, so just by that, she's seen people struggle for life on a ventilator. She's seen so many people pass away, and the only risk factor they even had was just being overweight, not even considered high risk, just a little bit overweight, and they can't breathe. So COVID is a very serious, very contagious disease. So in a country like India, where people are generally, malnourished, there's a lot of malnourishment in India. A lot of people aren't getting good food. there's a lot of, and also everyone's vegetarian out there, especially in Delhi, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but they just don't even have good food resources. To start off with, a lot of them don't have the money to go out to, a lot of these restaurants in India are kind of meant for tourists. They don't really have the money to go out and just go and eat food and get a full, meal to keep you satiated. So I think malnourishment is a big thing out there. And, the diet is mainly composed of dairy, ghee, which comes from cow, milk, sometimes you get some beans like moon beans, dal, stuff like that, which is healthy. But I think malnourishment is a big role, in getting sick. On top of that, I don't think everybody there has access to, like, over here, everyone has hand sanitizer, everyone has masks. Over there, when you don't have any, you're not making any money, how are you supposed to get these supplies unless they're handed to you? And then if they get a mask, they're probably reusing it every day because they don't have the luxury like we have of getting a new mask every day, washing our hands everywhere we go. Some places in India don't even have plumbing. They can't wash their hands. They share a toilet. I've heard stories where an entire village has one toilet they all get to use. So just those living conditions, which are not optimal, can easily lead to disease spreading. And I think any disease could spread over there, but something like COVID, which is extremely contagious.
Tell us a little bit about the farmer situation.
So from my understanding, the farmer situation is that Modi essentially cut out the middleman. So that way farmers can source their crops and sell their crops, directly, which I think which is bad because there's a whole market in the middle. There's a whole market for middleman in that industry. Kind of like over here, the farmers, what's basically happens here, from my understanding, is that farmers are competing against other farmers and selling to corporations. And they're, whoever has the highest crop yield gets, incentives and bonuses for doing that. But that also makes it very difficult for some of these smaller farmers, because how can they compete against someone with a better facility, than them, and they're producing more than them. Same thing with the meat industry. It's kind of how it is. So I think that's kind of what's happening over there.